Oh shit! Are you kidding me? Why didn't you say the fucking thing I wanted? Come on. Come on, OBS, you're killing me. Alright, now we're here. Alright, people. We are ready, we are live, and we're on YouTube. Well, we're live on YouTube and we're live here. So, what's going on, people? It is another episode of The Experience. It is Wednesday, April the 23rd, 2025. And WrestleMania season is over. Now the new season has begun. I am Drew, and joining me as always,
Justin from Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com.
Alright, how are you, my friend?
I am great, fantastic, jovial. How are you doing?
I can tell. I am pretty good. I can't complain. Liking how we're finally getting some rain here in San Antonio, which only means one thing: it's going to be a hot as fuck summer. But I'm ready for it. So let's get things started. WrestleMania has ended.
Before we do that,
I was actually gonna get to that because I forgot. So go ahead.
Before we do that, before we get into WrestleMania and everything here, what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about first? It can be WrestleMania related or anything like that, but what's the number one thing you want to bring up first?
What would I like to bring up first? Stephanie Vacour is hot as fuck. That's nothing new. I mean, there's a lot of things I can kind of point out about WrestleMania. I mean, a lot happened. The Hall of Fame. Did you get a chance to watch the Hall of Fame?
I did not watch any part of the Hall of Fame.
I watched every minute of it. I watched it from beginning, middle, end.
Couldn't do it. Could not do it.
I was
up
too
fucking late. We're making shirts. I was actually making t-shirts.
Yeah. I figured as much. I was up until was it 3:30 in the morning watching it. And
ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment, if that's the best way to put it.
Was it worth it?
It was a good Hall of Fame, just long, just really long. Michelle McCool, she went up there and talked, and again, she's a very nice lady. It's kind of hard for me to shit on her speech when she talked about having was it liver disease or kidney disease or something like that.
Yeah.
She's had it for 25 years, so it's hard for me to say that was a bad speech where I'm like, this girl could literally die at any moment. So I can't be mean to her. She seems like a nice woman.
A lot of wrestlers are living with a lot of, not to make it sound immediately, but I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, we may forget about this because this is something that happened a couple hours ago, but Steve Michael passed away today. He had ALS, so, he was part of my childhood, part of WCW. He was part of the year 97 Four Horsemen, so I always remember him for that. But yeah, rest in peace, Mongo.
I remember him, yeah. I do remember him. That was around the time when I started watching wrestling in general. But yeah, she had a nice speech. Taker, of course, inducted her and played the part in hyping her up. So there's that. Lex Luger came out. DDP inducted him, which, again, it's DDP. I love DDP, but it really should have been Sting. And for obvious reasons, they couldn't let him. But it's fucking Sting. Come on, Tony. Just let Sting just fucking do it. That's his friend. Let Sting do what he wants. But
I mean, Tony Khan, whatever. Just I don't even want to talk about that right now. But yeah, we'll just keep it with WWE.
Right. And Lex came out. He actually stood up. And gave a nice little speech. So it was kind of heartwarming for that on that end. You also had the natural disasters minus Tugboat. Was it Tugboat?
No, Tugboat. Uncle Fred was up there.
Okay, so who's the one that passed away?
Earthquake.
John Tenta. His family was there. And gave a nice little speech. Tenta gave a nice little speech as well. So again, good ones. Good ones. I can't really shit on it too much. Um, and then lastly, of course, you had Triple H, who was up there for over an hour, and it was just like Jesus Christ. And of course, it's Triple H, so he's gonna get all the time in the world. Um, but it was nice though because he thanked everybody, not even like people who were WWE related, like people that were outside of WWE. Like, of course, he thanked his parents. He thanked his sister, his sister's kids, even like his trainer. He's like, oh, this was my trainer when I started wrestling. And here's my other trainer when I started wrestling. Talked about everybody. He even brought up Vince, which, it kind of had like an ominous tone to it, where he's like, I gotta pretty much talk about the elephant in the room, Vince. At the end of the day, Vince made me into a star. Like, he gave me a chance, and I ended up meeting the love of my life because of him. So, and of course, he talks about his kids. His 3 daughters. His oldest daughter, who looks a lot like Stephanie. And then talk about Stephanie. He says he loves her and blah blah blah. One thing I thought was kind of interesting in it was like he thanked everybody. He thanked Stone Cold. He thanked Mick Foley. He thanked The Undertaker. He even thanked Nick Khan. The one person he didn't mention in his speech at all was The Rock. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me looking too much into things, but I thought that was kind of interesting that he didn't mention The Rock at all. But it was a nice speech. Triple H was getting emotional the whole time through it. Like, he, came out and was like visibly like crying, and was like, I'm to be honest, I'm gonna have to like take some time for a few seconds during the speech to like compose myself because I'm gonna cry the whole time. And yeah, they were there until almost 4 a.m, and NXT had to like have like was it not roll call, but like they had to be there at around like 5 or 6 a.m.
Yeah, they had call time. Yeah.
Yeah, and Shawn Michaels had to present Triple H, and even Triple H was like, Shawn's gonna get pissed off at me. But yeah, again, good Hall of Fame speech. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the was it the not Legacy Wing, the other thing for the match for the WrestleMania 13 match.
Immortal.
Immortal. There you go. Again, that was nice. Steve and Brett, they weren't up there too long. Brett, for as miserable as he looks most of the time, looked like he was happy to be there. And Steve is Steve. Steve is always happy to be anywhere. But yeah, just I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. They need to really fix this shit for next year. I don't know how they're going to do it. I already gave my reasons. I gave my way how to do it, but I doubt they ever will. But they just need to find a way to time this shit out better, so people aren't there until 3 or 4 in the morning. Because the wrestlers that were sitting in the audience were legit falling asleep. You saw Jey Uso and he was falling asleep. Well, I think he also passed out because you can tell he was drunk in the pre-show. I think Io Sky was falling asleep. I know Booker T fell asleep, and he made light of it. He's like, I wasn't sleeping, I was praying. Which they made fun of him for it on NXT, but overall it was good Hall of Fame. Again, they just need to time it out better. They need to find a way to fix it so people aren't there until 4 in the fucking morning, especially the wrestlers. What else? Other news. WWE purchased or acquired AAA, the wrestling company out of Mexico, and they announced June 7th they're going to be doing a Worlds Collide PLE. So it's pretty cool. I don't really have any strong thoughts in it, but it's pretty cool. How do you feel about it?
People are being fake with it. I'm just gonna say it. People are being fake with it. Like, when AEW was partnered with AAA, not a lot of people were excited about it. You know what I mean? But now you got people on Twitter, the strong WWE accounts, are like, oh, I can't wait for this. You can't name me not 3 fucking people on the roster. to be excited about. I know people that's on the AAA roster. I mean, you got El Heel, Dr. Wagner. Of course, you got Vikingo. You got Psycho Clown. You got Laredo Kid. You got I think her name's Flamer, Lady Flamer. That's the women's champion down there. So it's like, if you know of people, you can probably get some type of excitement by it, but just like the fake excitement behind it. You know what I mean?
Right.
What I'm excited about is, I know it's gonna be NXT, but I'm assuming that they're gonna you're gonna have to imagine Rey Mysterio's gonna have a match
Right.
down there, right? But you're gonna have to imagine that Dominic's gonna have a match, down in Mexico as well. Imagine the heat that Dominic's gonna get in Mexico. Those are the things I'm excited about. But a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't wait to see Pagano versus such and such, or Pagano versus Ricky Starks." I'm like, Sky, stop it! You can't you can't name me one Pagano match that you like. You know what I mean? So, but as far as the actual partnership, it's gonna. So WWE bought AAA. This is unprecedented. I know they want to buy them for years, and this was something that in the Lucha Libre Twitter world, which is a whole nother world, they've been going over rumors about this over the last year or so. So this is something that didn't come out of the blue, at least from that side of things. At least to us, because we're not really tapped into Lucha Libre. But at the end of the day, though, I mean, this is going to end up turning into NXT Mexico. That's what's going to happen. Because you're going to get your NXT Mexico, you're going to get your NXT Europe, you're going to get your NXT Japan. And I truly believe that WWE, and I think I made a prediction this year. I didn't make a prediction about AAA, but I thought I made a prediction about WWE and possibly New Japan. I can definitely see WWE buying New Japan possibly by the end of the year, early 2026. And the reason behind that is because New Japan right now, they obviously need financial support, because they can't afford their wrestlers that they want to keep right now. Fucking Naito left, or yeah, he's gone now technically. You have Will Ospreay that left, wanted more money, wanted to come to the States. Okada left, wanted more money, came to the States. Yeah, the Good Brothers that left there, a couple years ago, became WWE. They're gone now, but they came to WWE for more money as well. So New Japan has had money issues for the last few years at least. So I could definitely see that in the cards as well. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna be another breeding ground for WWE. This is gonna be the breeding ground for Mexico, and honestly, this is just really to counteract what AEW is doing with CMLL. They're gonna have their show in Arena Mexico. I think either next month or the month. I don't know exactly, but they're having a show in Arena Mexico for CMLL and AEW, and they announced that early last week. And WWE's like, well, all right, well, we're gonna raise you one. We're gonna actually buy AAA. So, I mean, I'm sure the shows are gonna be great, right? If they decide to do shows in Mexico, but the first show is gonna be in Los Angeles, which is a huge market for AAA. And the very first Worlds Collide pay-per-view was in 1994. And, that was like the American debut of Rey Mysterio and Psychosis, and you had the Los Gringos Locos of Art Bar and Eddie Guerrero, Mask versus Heron, the heels, Eddie Guerrero and Art Bar, they lost their hair, and to be one of the greatest tag team matches on American soil, you could go back and watch this. It's actually on, you can find the match for free on YouTube, so, but, yeah, at the end of the day, though, people are gonna be excited about it. People who hasn't seen Vikingo before, they're gonna see him for the first time, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god," you know what I mean? But the fans who did not like Vikingo because he was in AEW doing this flippy stuff, they're gonna love him all of a sudden because he's in WWE NXT doing the flippy stuff. So there you go with that. But we'll see what happens. But They don't have a huge roster either. They have a particularly small roster. I mean, you're probably looking at about maybe about 30 wrestlers on the men's side, and maybe less than 10 for the women's side. They don't have a lot of wrestlers, and they also have mini wrestlers as well, midget wrestling. So it's different. It's different. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm curious to see how this all plays out.
So funny thing about the was it the Los Gringos Americanos match that you brought up? So there's a story behind that. I don't know if you knew about it. So that was it hair versus hair match?
Yeah, versus the mask.
Right. So the night prior, Eddie Guerrero, he talked about in his book that he got drunk and
Right.
whatchamacallit, the Nasty Boys, they were messing with him in Art Bar, and they actually like shaved his head,
Right.
like
Yeah.
cut off parts of his hair or whatever. And he's like, "What the fuck?" So they actually had to put on like fake hair over the bald
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
So that happened. Again, this whole AAA thing. Again, I'm not a fake fan. I'm just one of those things. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Again, the only person I can really think of that's from AAA is Vikingo, and that's
Oh,
really.
Alberto Del Rio was over there, but he got let go yesterday.
Oh yeah, they're not bringing his ass in. They're not.
So it was so really the major guys over there is Vikingo, El Heel, the Dr. Wagner Jr. Now he was supposed to be signed. I don't know if you remember. We had a story about him a few months ago of him signing to WWE, and nothing came out of that. So I'm wondering if they knew that this was gonna happen. Like, hey, just stay in AAA, and we'll it'll be easier for you to come to WWE from that standpoint. But also Laredo Kid, he's pretty fucking amazing too. Laredo Kid, Psycho Clown, he's been like the fucking, I don't want to say the John Cena down there, but like he's been like the top guy. He was like one of the top guys down there, but he's almost 40. So, but yeah, there's people down there. There's definitely people down there for you to to start learning about, and also as well to hopefully become fans of.
Again, I give anything a chance. If I see something that they do that I think is good, I'll say it's good. So, but what else? You mentioned something else about WWE possibly either partnering up or maybe even purchasing New Japan. The Rock, and we'll talk about The Rock later. He put up I think it's either an Instagram post or a story where he was wearing a New Japan shirt.
Oh, was that like 2 weeks ago, something like that?
Yeah, it was like a few weeks ago. So that can mean something or nothing. There's also a possibility of WWE working with NWA. Possibility. I use the words possibility, but yeah, I mean these are good times, to be a wrestling fan. I'm interested to see where it goes. That's kind of how I look at anything. But anyways, that is the news, I guess, heading into WrestleMania. Let's talk about Stand and Deliver real quick, and then we'll get to Mania. So Stand and Deliver was on Saturday. At 12 p.m. Central Time, April 19th. Me and Jeff Lippman covered the show right afterwards. It was a pretty fun show. Did about an hour. And we both were in agreement. We loved the show. Like, we loved the show. He gave it an 11 out of 10. Jeff.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but okay.
Don't tell it to Jeff.
Great show.
Yeah, it was a great show. Like, Jeff, he loves NXT just as much as I do. Probably loves it even more. Very good show. Can't really think of a bad match on the show. But what did you think about the show?
Well, it was a fantastic show. I thought it was possibly one of the best NXT shows since the 2.0 era began. No, it's not 2.0 anymore, but since the end of Black and Gold. I will definitely put this in top two, probably number one. It's a solid 8.5 to 9 show.
Right, like, and consider all things considering, they were up pretty late the night prior, and they were able to go out there and really deliver at 12 p.m.
Well, I don't think a lot of talent went to the Hall of Fame. Like, so for example, I had a friend that went to the Hall of Fame. Oh no, sorry, that was went to WrestleMania, not the Hall of Fame, and he was taking pictures with Javon Evans when the Hall of Fame was happening.
Right. Okay.
So
Well,
I don't think all the talent went to the Hall of Fame. I think some of the talent went, but I don't think all the talent went.
right. Again, it was still an impressive, looking show. Um, but overall, like, what was your favorite match?
The main event.
The main event was very
Main
good.
event. I also like the tag team title match as well.
Oh yeah. The main event I thought was very good. I thought all three men delivered. Um, Javon Evans, this is his second main event, and he's not even like legally old enough to drink. So they really do love him some Javon Evans. Trick Williams is Trick Williams. Oba Femi is going to do Oba Femi things, but Javon Evans, he's going to be their star in the future. I mean, he's already getting there. I surprisingly, I really like the pre-show match with the 4-way tag team with the women. I thought that was very good. Surprisingly,
Yeah, that was pretty good. It was good.
I was happy that Gigi Dolan and Tatum won. Um, no, I mean, I think we pulled for Metaphor, but they were the first to get eliminated.
I was thinking it was gonna be metaphor, but I didn't think. I also didn't think that. Well, I mean the women's tag team titles are fucking shambles right now, but
Pretty much. Um,
but yeah.
you had Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. I thought that was pretty good. Ethan Page showed back up on Tuesday, so I don't think he's done yet in NXT. But I thought it was a good match. It wasn't a great match. Wasn't anything I'm going to remember. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't like the work rate match. It was more just like two guys that know what they're doing, and they went out there and delivered. Um, the tag team title match with Hank and Tank and Fraxium. I don't think anyone had it on their bingo card that Fraxium was going to lose this match, but they lost the match, and I guess it makes sense because Fraxium's been the tag champs for quite a while, so at that point it was like if they're not going to drop it to anyone after this, then who are they going to drop it to? Are they just going to relinquish it and go to the main roster? But good for Hank and Tank. They're a fun little tag team. They're that kind of tag team that opens a house show and gets the crowd riled up, and the people like Hank and Tank. And from again, I wouldn't be surprised if Fraxon is on the main roster pretty soon. And Lord knows that the main roster they actually do need some legit tag teams. And then the North American women's ladder match, Solruka won, which I believe you chose Solruka.
Yep.
I chose Thea Hale, but Solruka won, and fun. That's fine. I'm glad for Sol. And then the Fatal 4-Way women's match delivered, of course. And I keep saying this a lot. Jada Parker, of all the women in this match, she's the least experienced, but she looks like she belonged. She looked like she belonged in that match.
Yep. She's definitely getting better for sure. With each outing, she's getting better.
Yeah, she has that swagger about her that can't be taught in a class. So, and Stephanie winning, of course. And then we already talked about the main event. So, Stand and Deliver was good. Can't say enough good things about it. One of the better PLEs of the year so far.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk about WrestleMania. WrestleMania.
Before we actually get into the match itself, what did you think about the presentation, the stage, things like that? Like, what did you think about the overall presentation and the budget for WrestleMania this year?
I mean, of course, the stages are impressive. Like, I really wish WWE would go back to doing more stages for pay-per-view events and not just WrestleMania. But it's another.
That's so much money, though.
I know, and they're already charging an arm and a leg for these shows, especially WrestleMania. But again, that's another show. That's another conversation for another day. But no, the presentation was amazing. It's WrestleMania. You gotta look like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a top 3 stage.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
think especially with the you basically have seats on the stage. Like, I don't know why it took them this long to come up with that idea. That was fantastic choice.
I also like that they weren't in an outdoor stadium. Like they actually had a dome over the place.
But it's still like they were outdoors though because of the natural lighting. I love Allegiant Stadium. I love the construction of that stadium.
Right. I mean, I enjoyed it. I love the look of it. It looked like a big show. But what'd you think? I mean, I think you already answered it. But what were your thoughts about the budget and the presentation of Mania this year?
Uh, I don't like what you said as well.
Okay. Another thing I kind of wanted to add, just a small little critique, is that with a lot of the wrestlers' entrances, I thought they were kind of cheap. Like you would have figured that even like Cody would have had a much bigger, more what's the word, elaborate entrance.
Yeah.
Instead, he got like kids on BMX bikes, and he's coming out wearing an Iron Man mask for some reason. I'm like, okay. Um, we're gonna get to the main event pretty soon. I was like, I loved John Cena's entrance of
Yeah.
just like all black, and it just says John Cena in like white capital letters. I love that. But everybody else, LA Knight just drove up in a car. I'm like, okay, cool. I think Tiffany Stratton probably had the most I guess expensive-ish looking entrance, where she's coming out as a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like nobody really had any special entrances. CM Punk had a nice entrance, but that wasn't really an expensive entrance. That was more just like a package. Um, but yeah,
It costs money to get people to perform there, though.
I know, but
Yeah, you got to pay the talent,
I did like the video packages though.
Video package was really good. The CM Punk one was fan-fucking-tastic.
Love that.
Fantastic.
Love that they brought back this fire burns.
I almost teared up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I was smiling from ear to ear. I loved it. I also love the video. I mean, the video package for the Triple Threat where it was metal. They had a metal song, and yeah, we've had this conversation, thousands of times about music, in WWE, but it's like, I don't know. The seventh grade Drew loves metal. Like that was my metal phase. Like I want to hear metal, and this package had metal. It was Machine Day or Machine Head, which I haven't heard since like fucking, I don't know, 6th or 7th grade, one of those two. But I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I really did love the video packages. Again, one of the biggest things I love about the Paul Levesque era is video packages. Like they're making matches seem important. With video package, before with the Vince thing, it was here's clips of something that happened on Raw. This is why this match is here. Like now it's like, we're giving this a reason to be a match. So that's what I loved about it. All right, so Mania, night 1, April 19th. The show took place at Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. Night 1 had a attendance of 57,037 people. So allegedly. All right, so night 1.
What was the number through the turnstiles? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh well, I have it right here, young Justin. I have it right here. Night 2
No,
was 60,343 people. So combined, that was 117,380.
No, I was at. Never mind.
No, I knew what you meant. According to Steve Austin, but he was also drunk and driving at the same time. So that's another story. All right, so night 1. The show opens the World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther defends against Jey Uso. Oh boy. I think Stevie Wonder could have seen that Jey Uso was going to win this match. I think we're all preparing that Jey Uso was going to win this match. But how he won, I hated it. I hated the ending. So the ending was Jey. The whole match was Jey taking pretty much abuse by Gunther and then getting up and smiling, pretty much doing like the Rocky thing, Gunther being, I guess, Drago, in this situation. And then towards the end, Jey goes for his super kick and his spear, and then goes for 3, Samoan splashes. which I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the end of the match. I get it. And then, and then starts using Gunther's finishers on him. Like he uses the power bomb, which I'm like, that was bad. Don't ever do that again. He did something else. I think he did a German suplex.
Yeah, he did. He did a German, yeah.
And then goes for Gunther's sleeper.
Yeah, rear naked choke, yeah.
Which I'm just like, what's gonna happen here? And then Gunther immediately taps out. Not even like prolonging it or trying to like go for the ropes. He just taps out instantaneously. And yeah, that's what happened. So now Jey Uso is the new World Heavyweight Champion. That was, I did not like that ending. I really didn't like it at all. That was a bad way to end that match, in my opinion. And we'll talk about Gunther and Jay's direction when we speak about the Raw after Mania. But I really didn't like that. Again, I haven't been big on Jey Uso for this whole run for a multitude of reasons. I know you've been a little bit more positive about it, and I can understand why. But what did you think about the match?
Well, the match wasn't as bad as everyone was making it out to be. Now, was this like a great classic Wrestlemania match? No. God, no. No. Definitely not. But they told the story here of Gunther beating the shit out of Jay, just like in the other 3 previous matches. This time, Jay overcame Gunther. Now, did I like the ending? No. Did not like the rear naked choke and the immediate tap out. Now, some people are saying that, or not some people, but I've heard or I saw reviews, and one particular mentioned that it's not within Gunther's character to sit in a move like that and pass out. He'd rather will just tap out. He did the same thing with Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther at, I think it was like TakeOver 36, 37, whatever it was. So Gunther has done this before, and he's made a character trait. Also, as well, Gunther, they can tell a story with Gunther that he can't win the big one at WrestleMania. Because despite Gunther's, like, stylish record, when it comes to main event matches or high-profile matches, he already lost against Sami Zayn, and now he's lost against Jey Uso. Maybe they could tell a story with that. I don't know if that's, deliberately or whatever the case may be, but maybe they could tell a story with that Gunther has never won the big one at WrestleMania.
He won the triple threat a few years ago.
That's okay. He hasn't won. I didn't say he hasn't won a match. I say he hasn't won the big one, as in a main event caliber type match.
Okay.
So this one was a main event, obviously caliber match, world title, and the other one was because of the story with him and Sami Zayn. The triple threat match was fantastic. It was a fantastic match, but it wasn't for 39. That wasn't like a main event match.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't built as that. Okay. But like I said, the match overall is not as bad as people are making it seem. I'm seeing, I heard some people say this is one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. I'm like, yeah, at least one match on this show, or also on this night that was worse than this fucking match.
Mm.
You had the main event on night 2 that was worse than this match. So saying it's one of the worst matches in WrestleMania is probably, you're overdoing it there. You know what I mean? Have you seen the early WrestleManias? Like 1, 2, 3,
I mean, 4?
Did
you see last year when Jay and Jimmy had that match?
Well, that too, obviously, yes. That was a bad match, but terrible match. That one there was one of the worst WrestleMania matches. This one again, not a great match or anything like that.
Like Giant Gonzalez versus Undertaker.
Yeah, like Giant Gonzalez versus Undertaker. It's not as bad as people are making it out to be. And I thought, and I'll put it to you this way: I thought Jay did a not fantastic job. I don't want to say that. Jesus Christ, a fine job. That's what I meant to say. A fine job in this match. But I mean, it it wasn't anything great or spectacular, but thought he held his own. And Gunther. He's fantastic the way he does too as well. So Jay's the world champion. He ain't gonna be champion past SummerSlam. I don't know why people are making a big ass deal. Jay Uso being champion too. So, yeah, I don't see him being champion through SummerSlam. So I'll be surprised if he's champion after SummerSlam.
I got blocked by a Jey Uso fan on Twitter whenever I was talking about the match, because I just put fuck that finish. That was a stupid finish, and this girl who I don't even remember because she's irrelevant. She just put, you have anger issues. Jey Uso is the champion whether you like it or not. You're blocked, in capital letters. So I have anger issues apparently. I'm working on them. Not really. Yeah, just again.
He's like, not really.
I'll work on them eventually. I just need to stop being angry all the time. No. Yeah, I would honestly be surprised if I wouldn't be shocked if Jay drops the title before SummerSlam.
So let me ask this, conversation-wise, because I know people are kind of down on Jey Uso right now in this particular title reign. What can get you into his title reign? Who can he feud against? Like, what can get you involved in this title reign? It's like, you know what? I'm starting to like what they're doing here with Jey Uso.
Honestly, he was much better when he was the right-hand man. Like, try to channel that. Try to channel more of that. Like, I know you're being the Yeet Man and that sells merch and it gets a reaction.
Well, the right-hand man wasn't a world champion caliber person.
I said channel that energy. Like, channel that energy and that attitude a little bit and mix it in with what you're doing currently. But I don't think you will, and I don't think they're going to tell him to, because at the end of the day, and we've said this before, they're booking for the people that actually watch the show and buy the merch, and or I don't want to say buy. Well, actually, I think there's still people out there that still buy pay-per-views. But I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I said this a while back about Jey Uso. I think it was one of the solo shows I was doing, it was a night when I think you told me you couldn't make it. I just did a solo show, but with Jey Uso is like. He's like a 5-minute sketch on Saturday Night Live that became a movie that probably shouldn't have been a movie, and not Wayne's World. Like he's like the sketch Pat, where they made Pat into a movie. And maybe that's being a little bit too harsh because Pat was a horrible movie. But I don't know. Like I noticed on Monday, and this is coming from people that are actually at the show, that Jay was starting to get boos. But it got overshadowed by people who were yeeting more than booing.
I am not believing that shit. I mean, I believe it. I believe it happened. I'm not believing that shit because it's fucking Vegas, and they were booing fucking Cody for no fucking reason.
Well, yeah.
So it's like, if I don't trust that. I don't trust that whatsoever. I get people that come in. I got people that came in today yeeting. I was like the three things that people talked about the most was John Cena winning, Jey Uso winning, and and something that we're gonna talk about later. I'll just say that.
Let me ask you something. Because you've been watching wrestling for a while. Been watching wrestling for a while.
1992. Yeah.
Do you think eventually the fans will turn on Jay if WWE isn't too careful with it?
It happens. It happens to every babyface. So it happens to every babyface. So no one's immune to it. So are people gonna turn on Cody? It seems like that's what's happening right now. I don't agree with it. It's fickle, right? It's fickle. I've grown to a point in life where the baby faces and the heels, where it's like, I almost say I'm more pro babyface, but it's like, if there's really no reason for me to hate you, why am I gonna boo you just to boo you? You know what I mean? Like, I think Jay is doing his job as, one of the top baby faces in the company, getting people involved, and as of late, he's been doing less of the pandering, right? less of the pandering and more of a serious tone.
I don't know. He did. I mean, he didn't do that on Monday.
Well, he won the fucking title. Would that be cause for celebration? Or would you just want to come out all mopey still?
I mean, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, Jay.
Well, no, I'm asking you. Like in that situation, was his very first title, right?
Right.
Like, how would you want your babyface to come out?
I mean, I'm not saying have a cry fest, but like, it seemed like he didn't really do anything. It just seemed like he was out there. It just seemed like he was out there to kill 10 minutes, and then Sammy came out and stared at him.
He was out there to celebrate.
We'll get to Raw, but anyways, that was the match. Next, as you had for the World Tag Team Championships, you had New Day versus the War Raiders. Not a bad match, but I don't think it needed to be on the card. It was a Raw match. I would have put Chelsea Green on the show. Again, I'm still baffled that she wasn't on the show in some capacity. I would have put since they planned that TLC match on SmackDown. Why not just put TLC on fucking WrestleMania?
So I'm gonna tell you why they were on the show. I don't agree with it. By the way, yes, you're right. Chelsea Green should have been on here or another tag team man. You want to know why the reasons they were on the show? This was for advertisement. That's it.
Advertisement for Up Up Down Down?
No, for Clash of Clans.
Oh God.
So the New Day came out as Clash of Clan characters. So did the War Raiders.
Okay.
I don't agree with it, but I'm telling you that's why they're on this card.
I mean, they couldn't have just given that to anyone else, but I don't know. Whatever. I'm not booking the show. But
again,
I know.
That's the reason.
I know. I believe you. But yeah, the New Day are the new tag team champs. What do you think?
This is my match. I didn't. As a match itself, it was fine. Didn't need to be on the card though. It was this night one felt like Monday Night Raw, except for the main event. It just felt like a Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it felt like Monday Night Raw with a budget, essentially. So that's that. Sorry about that. Next is you have Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Naomi coming out to metal music, which is unexpected but pretty cool. I like that she was vibing with it. And then of course Jade Cargill came out. I was surprised about how good this match was. This is the best Jade match I've seen like probably ever. And of course she has Naomi out there to pretty much coach everything and tell her what she needs to do. But I like this match. I really did. I thought the ending was pretty cool with that sequence of moves that Jade did, and Jade got the win, which was expected. But what did you think about the match?
That was a fine match. I thought they used Jade to the best of her abilities, or her strengths here, especially with the power spots. I thought that was good as well. I was torn between who should have won this match. I was leaning towards more Naomi, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think she's gonna be fine with this new gimmick. So, but I was fairly entertained by this match.
What'd you think about Naomi's new theme?
It fits her mood.
I loved it. I can't wait for that to come out on like Spotify. I want to hear it. Next, as you had for the WWE United States Championship, you had Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. Like I mentioned before, LA Knight came out in a sports car, and that's pretty much it. He just drove up and they let him out. Jacob Fatu, I was surprised he didn't do that thing he does in his entrance where he just like shit talks LA Knight from behind the scenes, and then he comes up to the entranceway and comes out. But I thought this was a very good match. In some ways, you can maybe say it was the match of the night, maybe the best match of night one. It did everything it needed to do. It was a very well constructed, well paced match. LA Knight, so he's still going to be over. Jacob Fatu, he's supposed to be a heel, but he's getting not heel reactions, face reactions. He
he's starting Bayface sooner rather than later, so I'm not worried about that.
It's funny how that report came out about WWE not wanting to introduce Jacob Fatu because they thought he would outshine Solo. Well, they were right. But Jacob Fatu got the win, as he should have. He's the new United States champion, and he shared a nice little moment with Haku after the match. So good to see Haku. But what'd you think about the match?
That was a pretty damn good match. I went call this match of the night for night one. Definitely second best match, but the main event far and away topped everything in night one. So, but glad that Jacob won. LA Knight, where does he go from here? I don't know, but yeah, it looks like they're starting to put that rocket on him.
All right. Let's go ahead. Next is you had a singles match, which was supposed to be El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio got injured the night prior on SmackDown. I believe it was an ankle injury. So he was replaced by Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix already making his WrestleMania debut, so good for him. Again, I thought this surprisingly. I don't want to say surprisingly because two very good wrestlers in the ring, but being that it's a gimmick, the gimmick of El Grande Americano, I like that he still goes out there and still puts on a great match, kind of like Hurricane Helms, where Shane Helms was a great wrestler before, and then he became Hurricane Helms, and he was a joke wrestler, but he still managed to go out there and perform, kind of like El Grande Americano. But I really did like this match. Surprisingly, Rey Fenix. I don't know. I don't know if I would have had him lose in his WrestleMania debut, since you're trying to push him. I mean, granted, Grande Americano used the plate on his mask.
I mean, and also on top of that as well. I mean, like, this was supposed to be the outcome anyway. He was apparently supposed to be Rey Mysterio. So
I mean,
they weren't going to change they weren't going to change course because of the injury.
I know. And then before the match, El Grande was interacting with Vikingo, and Vikingo kicked him in the head. So that was kind of funny. But I thought this was a very good match. The ending made sense for the heel. And yeah, that's what happened. What'd you think about the match?
Too short. Very short. I thought they could have gave these guys 5 more minutes, I thought.
It was,
and but I don't really think that they really showcase Rey Fenix and what he could actually do. But what they did in the ring, I thought was pretty good, though. But I just thought the match was too short, but good for what it was.
It was 7 minutes and 55 seconds.
And also, as well, with this whole AAA partnership, and and Vikingo got involved too, as well. You know what I mean? Like that was on my bigger card. Vikingo getting physical at a WrestleMania and being part of a story-ish part of the match. Yeah. Put that in your bigger card in 2025. Fucking wild.
Yeah, that's the world of pro wrestling.
But that also tells you as well, they may be some up for El Grande Americano versus Vikingo, possibly.
Can you imagine how much heat that's gonna get when he shows up to AAA?
That'll be fucking insane.
Oh man, it's like 1980s Memphis wrestling heat. Like Jesus Christ. All right, so where am I at? Next is the Women's Championship, the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Tiffany Stratton, like I mentioned before, she came out doing a Barbie entrance. I didn't really like this match at all. I mean, I didn't really like this match too much. I thought...
You didn't like it? It was fucking terrible.
Yeah. It was no bueno. I didn't really think it... I don't know. Like I think there was like something off with both women.
It was 2 women that didn't want to work with each other.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Charlotte, it's weird because Charlotte can bring out a good match out of anyone. She couldn't bring one out of Tiffany.
No. You didn't hear what I said. It was 2 women that did not want to work with each other. It's not a matter of
right.
Let's have a fucking good match. It's a matter of like, I don't want to work with you.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was kind of surprised Tiffany won, even though I said Tiffany should win. Um, yeah, but like you said, there's definitely some chemistry issues with these two. Um, I also think Tiffany, as much as I like her, as much as good as I think she still has some work to do as far as like tuning up and working on in-ring psychology in the ring, because every now and then she still kind of has that "oh shit, what do I do" face, and Charlotte has to be the one. She has to be the one that helps, but like you said, it was two women that didn't want anything to do with each other, and that's what made the match.
And Tiffany, I don't know what happened, but she chipped her tooth pretty bad. I don't know what happened on this, well, on what spot that happened on, but
She was getting her ass whooped out there. Like after the match, she had bruises on her face and her back.
yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know, but
I
yeah,
don't know.
this match was not good at all, like at fucking all. Um, but yeah, it did not do any favors for both women, especially Charlotte, and like I don't know. Anyways, what'd you think? I mean, you already told me what you thought, but you have any more thoughts on the
I
match?
have nothing else to say. The match fucking sucked. It was one of the worst. Now, you want to talk about one of the worst WrestleMania matches? As far as on the women's concerned, this is one of the worst women's title matches I've ever seen at WrestleMania. It was bad.
I don't know. Like, where do you think both women go from here?
Charlotte, I don't know, because she has not done anything without a title like ever. She hasn't feuded for anything. They may have a rematch for all I know. I don't know. I don't want to see it, but they may have a rematch. Where Tiffany goes, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Raw was pretty ballsy on Monday, which I loved. I loved Raw. I thought Raw was the best thing out of
Oh yeah,
of everything WrestleMania weekend to offer. I thought Raw was fantastic. But I don't know. Well, I will have to wait and see. I don't have a good answer.
all right. And now we move on to the main event, which was a triple threat match. CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. CM Punk's intro was showing his past, dating back to OVW, and then so on and so forth. Playing the Fire Burns by Killswitch Engage, which I thought was fucking cool. They even did like a nice little bit where they were showing his first, I guess, debut vignette when he went to ECW, where he's saying, my addiction is pro wrestling. And it's like going back and forth with past Punk and future Punk. So I thought that was pretty cool. Almost brought a tear to my eye. And then, Living Color play him to the ring. Punk comes out, and, Paul comes out. Seth had a flamethrower for whatever reason. And Roman Reigns comes out. And, yeah, the match began. The match was good. I really, I enjoyed the match itself. It was very hard hitting, and just three guys beating the ever living dog shit out of each other. What else could you ask for? And there's really nothing else you can ask for than just that. Like, these three guys in storyline hate each other, and they probably don't like each other in real life. But unlike the previous match with both women, these three guys know how to put that shit to the side and make magic and make money. And trust me, they made money. Punk, man, he got his WrestleMania bod. Like, he looked good. Like, he looked kind of jacked. Roman looked smaller. Like, he was getting real lean. I don't know if maybe that's like a Hollywood thing, but like there was a point where Seth even looked bigger. Seth looked kind of bigger than Roman at one point. Yeah, all three men, of course, they know what to do. They know how to make it work, and they get it. So they went out there and worked. And for a Roman Reigns match, there wasn't any Gaga in it, because usually with Roman Reigns matches, there's always like some Gaga. But since the Bloodline is no more, and
Well, Gaga how?
I'm sorry.
Gaga how?
Well, I mean the Bloodline stuff of like the referee always conveniently gets bumped. someone interferes, and then that takes 10 minutes, and then so on and so forth. But
isn't that what the Paul Heyman thing was?
technically, but the referee didn't get bumped this time. It was a whatever.
It doesn't have to be the same things every time. But I mean, that was your focal point of story in the match was the Paul Heyman, with the steel chair, bringing the steel chair, and then attacking CM Punk, then attacking Roman, and.
Yeah, but for Roman Reigns' run for 4 years, every match ended the same. The referee would get bumped, and someone for the Bloodline would interfere. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But so we're getting to the ending. So the ending is all three men did their finishers to one another. I think at least twice, and they all kicked out. And there was a point where Seth goes for, I believe, the curb stomp on Punk, and all three of them are just laid out. And then Paul Heyman, goes for a steel chair and is confused, do I give it to CM Punk? Do I give it to Roman? He gives it to Punk. Paul gets in the ring. Punk's about to hit Roman with a chair, and then Paul low blows Punk. And then, Roman's just sitting there cheesing while the whole time, Paul's just, crying his eyes out. And then he gives it to Roman, and Roman starts hitting Punk with a chair. Paul tells Roman, my tribal chief, look! And, Roman's about to, give Seth the same treatment that he gave him. Actually, last year. He did it to him last year, and then, Seth did it to him on Monday. And then Paul goes down and low blows him, and doesn't just low blow him. He makes sure all his arm, he makes sure his whole arm is in his nuts, to make sure he crushes him to bits. And he ends up giving the chair to Seth. Seth hits Roman with a steel chair, goes for the curb stomp, 1, 2, 3. And that's how WrestleMania Night 1 ends, with Seth and Paul Heyman. You brought that up. You said that was a possibility. I know other people, they mentioned it as well.
I mentioned that at least a month in advance, and I said that, hey, I didn't want to see it, but that's probably what's gonna happen, and we just need to be prepared for it. So when it happened, I wasn't shocked, just to say the least.
Yeah, it's not something I wanted to begin with, but after Raw, I kind of had to give it some thought of okay, I don't think they're gonna make Punk a heel, because Punk, he's over, he sells merch. They already have too many heels. They need the right people to be heels, because Roman's not a heel anymore. Roman's already in that babyface spot.
You predicted Seth to be heel a while ago, and at one point you thought he turned it. I was like, hey, he's not heel. He's not a heel yet. Now he's a heel. He's full-fledged heel.
I also think people love Punk too much to boo him at this point. So I think Seth I think is naturally a heel. And from what I heard, he's kind of a heel in real life, but I think he works better as a heel, because he just has that aura and that swagger about him, where it's I want to boo you. I want to boo you as a face. So he's much better as a heel. My whole thing is I think Paul Heyman works better with people that need him to be that mouthpiece. Because when he was with Roman, it worked because of the aesthetic, but it's Roman didn't even need him. Punk never needed him, but he worked with Punk because that was his best friend, and they're both heels and they could get heat. And he worked with Roman.
So we gotta stop looking at a manager as someone as a mouthpiece, which he could be an enhancement for that, right? But sometimes having two good talkers together can enhance both talents. So Paul Heyman and Roman, they both enhanced each other. Paul and Punk, they both enhance each other. I think that's where we're gonna get with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins.
Okay. All right. But yeah, that was night 1. Did you have any thoughts on the match?
I thought it was a fantastic match. One of the best triple threats in WWE history.
All right. A match that had no title implications or stipulations. And, yeah, it ended up being a darn good.
I know a lot of people they hate like multi-man matches, but the multi-man matches were all the multi-man matches for the most part were the best matches at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I'm when it comes to multi-man matches, they can either be very good or very sloppy. I mean, the multi-women match on NXT, Stand Deliver, that was really good. And then, yeah, the main event, the triple threat, was really good. And WrestleMania, like you said, a lot of the multi-man matches ended up being really, really good. For better, for worse. I mean, not for worse, but you could probably say that they were the best matches of the night. Best matches of the weekend. So, speaking of which, night 2.
What would you give night 1?
Probably like a C minus.
A C minus.
The main event was the only good thing on the show, and the United States title match. That's about it. C plus, C minus. Between that.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm giving it a 4 out of 10.
Jesus, you gave it a worse grade than me.
Yeah, you gave it a 7. You gave it a 7.5.
Oh man, I mean the main event saved it, and the
main event was great, and the United States title match, that was good too as well, but everything else was. That's a 4 out of 10, man. Night 1 was terrible. Night 1 was the energy of night 1 was so like I was seeing it, I'm like, this is not a WrestleMania. This does not feel like WrestleMania. Yeah. 4 out of 10 for me.
All right. C minus, D plus. I'm in that area. All right, night 2. Night 2. Triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. This was fucking fantastic. I love this match. My worries going into this match was what's going to happen with Io, because I don't think anyone picked Io to win. I think it was either Bianca or some people picked Rhea.
There was actually people out there picking Io to win. I was not one of those people. I did pick Bianca. I will admit that. But there was people out there who I trust picked Io to win, and they were dead on.
Yeah, you have 3 women that know what they're doing, that trust each other, that have good chemistry in the ring. Rhea's worked with Io countless times. Bianca's worked with Io countless times. And they just all know what they were doing. The pacing in the match worked. I don't think there was ever a slow spot in the match. There was never a point in the match where I got bored. And just, again, all 3 women delivered. It's definitely it's if you said this is your favorite match of the weekend, I wouldn't bat an eye. This is a match of the year candidate, as I make it very adamant, candidate. And like I mentioned, all three women delivered. Rhea Ripley got a black eye, because of it. The sacrifices one can take. And it was a good ending. Like any match with Bianca, I know there are 2 other women in the match, but any match with Bianca, the ending is always great. She knows how to have great endings to matches, and the ending sequence to this match was, Bianca and Rhea are working on each other. I think Rhea went for her finisher, or Bianca went for her finisher, and Io's on the top rope, and as they're about to go for the 3 count, Io goes for her moonsault and pins one of the women. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. I was happy that Io won. I like Io. I wasn't liking the direction of the match of like Io felt like the odd woman out. I'm like, I wouldn't do that to Io. Io's too fucking good for you to make her feel like she's the third wheel. But I love this match. I can't say enough good things about it. What'd you think?
This was, to me, this is top 3 or maybe top 2 best women's match in a WrestleMania. This is so far my match of the year. This was a hard-hitting match. This was a physical match. the ladies, they went out there and they did almost everything perfectly in this match. I don't think there was a spot that was like, oh man, that looked kind of sloppy. No, I think everything was good. And things like the camera work as well can make or break a match too as well. Like when Io came off the top with the moonsault at the very end, camera work was perfect placing for that as well. I think I think a lot of people at this point are in some ways underappreciating Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, and we forget how good that they actually are in the ring. Um, just a fantastic piece of business that they did in this match. Just great. The near falls, the counters, just everything about it was fantastic. So right now, if you were to ask me, what's my match of the year? This is currently my match of the year, and I put it to you this way as well. You know when a match is good when everyone who I won't say who matters, if they matter to you or not, but everyone who has influence, I will say, in the community agrees about this match. From Jason Solomon to Dave Meltzer to, whoever. Everyone thinks this match was fucking amazing. So that should tell you something there, if everyone can agree on that. So, ladies did a hell of a job, fantastic, and I can't wait to see, where all three ladies go from here.
Yes, sir.
A great way to start off night 2. This felt like a WrestleMania match. It had an energy in it. You take this match that opened up versus Jay and Gunther, although, as I mentioned, Jay and Gunther wasn't a bad match, it didn't really have that energy, that WrestleMania energy. This had that energy, and then some.
In your opinion, why do you think that Night 2 always seems to have a better energy and feel to it than opposed to Night 1?
Always. WrestleMania 38, Night 1 I thought was better than Night 2.
Right.
WrestleMania, I think maybe 39. I thought Night 1 was better. WrestleMania 37, Night 1 was better. 36, in the pandemic, Night 1 was better. I think it's just recently. I think the last 2 WrestleManias, Night 2 has actually been better. So WrestleMania 40, 41 had the better of Night 2, in my opinion.
Right. But like, I guess let me kind of counteract the question. Why do you think that certain nights work better, whether it's Night 1 or Night 2?
It's just the card, how they put the card together.
Okay. Do you think WWE?
It's just as simple as that. How they put the card together. If you look at Night before we even watched WrestleMania, I already knew Night 2 was gonna be better just by the card itself.
Agreed.
Just by the card itself and the caliber of talent, I already knew it was gonna be better.
No, I agree with you. But I just kind of wanted to ask you that question. Right. Second match. Yeah, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. Drew McIntyre dressed up as Doomslayer for the new Doom game. I had an old man moment. I had no clue what he was dressed by or who he was dressed as. I figured it was a video game of some sort, and our buddy Ruben.
Doom guy. I don't know where they got the name Doomslayer from. It's always been Doom guy, but I guess the new generation games they changed the name to Doomslayer.
I don't know. I had my old man moment. I'm like, who is this guy? And then Ruben Prime had to break it down to me. And then Damian Priest came out, being played by the guitarist from Slayer, who actually does the riff in the beginning of his theme. So I thought that was pretty cool. I really did like this match. These two really brought their A game. They beat the shit out of each other. It's fantastic. I was a little underwhelmed in one department, which was it's called a Sin City street fight, and there were no like Las Vegas themed items. Like there wasn't a pool table that they put up. There were no poker chips they can use as weapons. Like I don't know, just little.
Well, the tables on the outside, the announcers tables, they look like dealer tables, like blackjack dealer tables.
Like brand new brand new announce tables, and they just got fucked up for the whole weekend. But no, I kind of would have liked that a little bit. Maybe some fighting out in the audience, but overall, I really did enjoy the match. Drew won, and I thought he. I was kind of thinking they were going to go for Damien, but Drew I think needed it more. I like the ending of the match. The ending of the match was a good sequence. They set up 2 tables outside of the ring, which was foreshadowing. Damien goes for his was it old school rope walk, and Drew just pushes him off. I thought that was fun. He just like goes boop, and he just pushes him off, and then sets up a chair in the corner, and then puts Damien's head there, and then goes for Claymore, and then 1, 2, 3. So, and then there was a funny bit during the match where Drew McIntyre goes up to his brother, his actual brother, and grabs his phone and then takes a picture. Or takes a selfie in front of Damien and goes, still bored here at work, LOL. So that's just funny as shit. But I really did like the match. I really did like it. Just wanted a little more from it, like I mentioned. But what'd you think?
They were 2 for 2 on the night at this point. I thought this was a great street fight. Everything that you named, I loved about it. It was really good.
All right. Next, the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio versus Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor versus Penta. 3 for 3 so far. This match was fan-fucking-tastic. Really, just
yeah.
This was actually the match I was looking forward to the most out of the whole weekend. I wanted to see this match because I'm a big fan of all 4 men in this ring, and this is another good example of a multi-man match with guys that know what they're doing. They know how to facilitate the match. You had Penta, Penta's first Mania, which is good to see. And Braun spearing Carlito into another realm, which was fun, which is fun to see. And the sequence, the end of the match was similar to the women's match, but they made sure, I guess, to add its own uniqueness to it, where Finn goes for his coup de grace on, I believe it was Penta, and Dominic at the same time is on the top rope and he goes for his frog splash and pins Penta. So Dominic is the new Intercontinental Champion, which I think we chose Dominic. I think that was our choice. I think that was everybody's choice, was Dominic. I would have liked if Penta won because that would have been kind of cool. I wouldn't have minded if Finn won. Wouldn't have minded if Braun won, but Braun is, we'll talk about Monday in a bit, but he's on to bigger and better things. I love this match. I loved everything about it. It's, again, if you told me this is your favorite match of the weekend, I would not disagree with it. I wouldn't argue with you. I might agree with you, but overall, what'd you think?
Fantastic, fatal 4-way. Definitely one of the matches of the weekend as well. Dom winning is the cherry on top as well. He deserves it. He more than deserves it. I mean, he's been putting the work for years as especially as a heel, and we'll see what's going. And now Dom's gonna eventually. He's getting very, very positive reactions. It starts to seem like now. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes from and I did predict, as my bold predictions, Dom's gonna be one of the new top baby faces. So maybe we'll see that. We'll see.
Yeah, like he was getting cheers. I think he was on.
Even it is in Vegas too, because it is the same people that are booing Cody. So
Well, no, I think they were even cheering him before that. Like, scumbag Dom is getting over. Like he.
Well, I see the discourse on online too, on Twitter. A lot of people are really into Dom right now.
Like he was on some show. I think it was on Monday, where he was like, "I've been so used to people booing me that I can't even hear myself talk, to now they're cheering me," and I'm like, "This is kind of surprising." So.
Just wait till those same people start to start not liking him.
Oh, well,
fickle wrestling fans,
like Daniel Bryan said, fickle. But good for Dom, who 5 years ago, his first 4-way was not so great.
He just barely started wrestling, so
Right, but
I was never, ever, ever too hard on Dom like some other people were in the
me,
community.
me.
I just, oh, well, I don't know I don't know what your opinions were about him 5 years ago, but
Right.
mine was like the guy's learning. He's give him time, let him figure it out, and they turn him heel, and he's fleshing out of a character, and he's figuring it out now. So
Right, like,
and he's getting better in the ring to even boot that too. So
yeah, it's just like, again, this is a guy that was on my list of like the worst of, and I just didn't care for him.
wow.
And I'm just being honest. And he becomes heel, and he learns how to work. He learns how to work the crowd. He gets better in the ring, and all that hard work paid off. Now he's a Intercontinental champion, so good for him.
If he turns babyface, would your opinions change of him possibly?
Depends what they do with him. It depends what they do with him, and it depends how he handles it. Again, it's one of those things I gotta see it first, because I still want to boo Dom. Like, secretly, sometimes I want to boo Dom because he's still scumbag Dom to me. But again, I hope it's not a forced babyface turn. I hope it's more organic, where they just, like, let it happen on its own. And I think he can make it work because he gets the business now. Again, that's just kind of how I look at it. Next, you had Randy Orton come out. Randy Orton was supposed to wrestle Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens got a neck injury, so he's gonna be out for God knows how long. So he comes out and just does he calls anyone out. He lets them know, hey, you want to get in the ring and wrestle Randy Orton? Wrestle me. And the door is open, and it's Joe Hendry, the TNA World Champion, wrestling on WrestleMania, which is still surreal to see. So he comes out, gets a nice little reaction. I was happy because I like Joe Hendry, and it was a 3-minute and 10-second match, the shortest match on Mania. I mean, we all figured. I think everyone figured. It's not going to be a long match, and regardless, Randy's going to win. I was thinking maybe Rusev, but they obviously want to save Rusev and do something big for his return to the company. It obviously wasn't going to be Aleister Black because he's already planned for SmackDown this Friday. I was kind of hoping maybe Nick Aldis. Maybe we can give Nick Aldis a WrestleMania payday or a moment, but it was Joe Hendry, so good for him. He got a WrestleMania paycheck. Again, short match. There was kind of a funny bit where Joe Hendry's doing the thing where he turns around and the camera angle zooms in on him, and he does it the second time, and I'm like, I wonder if Randy's gonna RKO him, and Randy RKO's him. that was kind of funny. And Randy wins, and then he helps him up, and gives him his flowers, and then he RKO's him again. And then Randy does the camera thing where he turns around and then he poses. So Randy looked like he was having fun. So, but I mean, this is a fun squash match. And at the end of the day, Joe Hendry had his WrestleMania moment. He got paid. So good for Joe Hendry. Good for TNA. But overall, what'd you think?
I thought it was a great moment. Great moment for TNA. If anyone's asking what is TNA getting out of this deal, this is possibly the biggest thing that they can get on a worldwide stage. The most eyes on the product for the year. WrestleMania 41. Joe Hendry comes out. The whole crowd singing his theme song. A guy that worked on the indies for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, and just trying to get a break. Got to TNA. Finally became the TNA World Champion, and he gets this moment. Nobody can take this away from him. If he goes out there and he starts getting booed and the tie's taken off of him, he gets released from TNA and he becomes basically a blip in the world of professional wrestling. No one can ever take that away from him. It was a WrestleMania performer against a legend in Randy Orton. No one can ever take that away from him. So happy for Joe. And as far as match was concerned, I thought the time that they were given was really, really damn good. Very, very good. He got his point across, and Randy won.
Nice. All right, moving on. We have Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Logan Paul, his entrance was he was holding one of the drones while he walked to the ring. So I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. Um, the match was fine. Something kind of didn't click for me. I don't really know what it was. It's just something was just kind of off about the match.
Is that AJ Styles is great as a wrestler. He hasn't really had great WrestleMania matches. Except with Shane. I thought the one with Shane was really good.
Which is weird. Is like of all the matches, he had a good match with Shane. Like, the Nakamura match wasn't that great. The LA Knight match last year wasn't that great, which he actually talked about recently because he said the match was supposed to have more time, but it got cut short. Yeah, AJ, it's weird. Like he hasn't really had a memorable like WrestleMania match, and this match wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that great, and I really didn't like the ending. So like one of Logan's goons, which that's usually what happens in a Logan Paul match is one of his people comes out and Michael Cole has to act like he knows who he is. He's like, that's one of Logan Paul's friends. That's fuckity McFuckface. I'm like, who? Because I last year I didn't know who ISO Speed was. You're the one who had to tell me who that was, and like he's coming out and I'm like, who is this guy? And you're like, oh, that guy has like 1 million subscribers on Twitch or whatever. I'm like, okay. And then Randy Spartan kicks him. But yeah, that Logan Paul's guy came out and like was pulling out the brass knucks, and then Karrion Kross comes out and takes the brass knucks, and then's telling AJ, you gotta do it, you gotta do what you have to do, and then AJ's like, no, and then takes the brass knucks and throws them, and then Logan Paul punches him and got the win, and that's really about it. Again, nice. Again, Kross, I guess, got a moment on Mania, which, talk about Kross in a
What do you
bit.
think about the match? I'll just say this, the match was fine. It was fine for what it was, but I don't care about the match because this is where night two started going down. What do you thought about that Karrion Kross promo? I know you saw it.
Okay, I was actually, that was actually on the docket. So, I love that promo. I actually have the whole transcript right here.
Oh yeah, I mean the promo was fantastic. I mean, I mean, to me this is his Miz promo, telling everyone to try go fuck yourself, and basically saying that I can't bring great ideas, like I'll just bring good ideas. You know what I mean? The great ideas is for those other guys. So, I thought this should be his launching pad to get to that next level, and he's doing everything that he can, but this should be his launching pad. So hopefully WWE does the right thing. That was a fantastic promo though.
Yeah, I loved it. Like in the promo, like he brings up, like there was a bit in the promo where he said him and Scarlett would go up to creative with really good ideas, and they would say those ideas are too good, we don't need them to be too good, and then they would give them to someone else. He brought up a conversation that he had with Goldberg, where Goldberg told him, hey, you remind me a lot of me. Like, you just need to be a good soldier. And, you'll be fine. Yeah. And Kross is like, well, that's pretty much all I've done, is be a good soldier. Like, why am I not on the WrestleMania card? It's Vegas. Like, I'm from Vegas. This is where I cut my teeth. And, Scarlett's like, between us, we've had 25 years of experience in the business. And they couldn't find a place for us on the card. And it's just like Kross character work. He's like, as far as character wise, he's been doing the best work of his career, and they acknowledge it on the show. But it's like shit or get off the pot. Like they don't want to shit or like they can't decide to shit or get off the pot with this guy. You know what I mean? Like he had a great match with AJ on that Raw, which I'm like, okay, someone's got to notice something. And I don't know. He brought up Joe Hendry, which he's like, I love Joe. I got nothing against Joe, but
I think this is all deliberate. I think they're gonna really start pushing him. I think this is all deliberate.
And then I know you heard this. Like at the end, when like he says, "Go fuck yourself," he says, and that's from Killer Kross, and then he slams the microphone down. So,
yeah, they may change the name to Killer Kross, back to Killer Kross, huh?
Which that's another thing. And like my biggest complaint with Kross since he's been back is that he hasn't really done anything to make people go, oh shit. It's this guy. Like he hasn't like he hasn't done anything like beat the shit out of somebody, like beat the shit out of out of like a stage guy that he thought was looking at, Scarlett, or I don't know, like look at what Mark Henry did with the Hall of Pain, where he would just randomly attack people and just look like a threat. Like Cross needs to do stuff like that. So, but again, love the promo. So yeah, let's move on. Women's Tag Team Championship match. You had, or the.
I gotta step out. Go ahead and continue. I gotta step out just a minute. I'll be right back.
All right. So the Women's Tag Team Championship match. It was originally supposed to be Lyra and Bayley versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Bayley got attacked on, was it Friday? Yeah, she got attacked Saturday backstage. And Nick Aldis, was it Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce? Yeah, Adam Pearce told Lyra, listen, you have 24 hours to find a new partner. That's about it. And we all kind of figured who it was going to be. And it ended up being Becky Lynch. Surprise, surprise. Which, I gotta say, Becky Lynch looks good. She looks like she actually has more tone to her body. She looks like she has like color in her face. She doesn't look like was it Azempic, Becky Lynch. So she looks good out there. She actually has a nice little wrestling physique. The match wasn't that great. Like Justin mentioned, around this time, more so with the previous match, this is where the dip in quality went. I didn't hate the match. I just didn't love the match. I thought, and then looking back on the results of the match heading into Raw and what happened on Raw, is like, what was the point of the match? Like, there were a lot of matches on both cards that I don't think needed to be on the show. It's like Chelsea Green couldn't be on the show, but this was. Like, this could have easily been a Raw match. You could have just done the angle on Raw where Becky gets attacked and just have Becky come out on Raw. And then do the rematch next week. Like, have more time to kind of simmer. But, I don't know. Whatever. I don't book the show. But, that's really about it. That is really about it, how I feel about this match. I have no opinions about it, but it was a Raw match. And probably, maybe it's because, I don't know, they wanted to make up for the fact that they introduced 2 women's mid-card titles, and none of them were booked, so they at least wanted to book one of them. But, I don't know. We'll get to Lyra in a bit when we talk about Monday Night Raw. But, I see Justin's light on in the back. I see his living room light. I'm trying to pull something up. Hold on, I'm just messing around with something. But that was the match. So I guess we'll get to the main event. I don't want to stall too much, but the main event. Well, I see Justin coming back.
Okay, I have to head out. It has something that came up, but just real quick, I'm just gonna rapid fire this here because I just want to get my quick thoughts about it. Main event, terrible. Terrible.
Agreed.
I really think that The Rock ruined WrestleMania, and he's possibly sabotaging fucking Triple H because he went on an interview with fucking McAfee saying, "Oh well, both sides, or not both sides, but the final boss had to bow out," and that's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's because that you want to be involved, and Triple H said no, and you're like, okay, I don't want to come back. So whatever. Meltzer actually, Meltzer's been off all year, but there was a report back in like February or sometime after the Elimination Chamber that Cena was originally supposed to turn heel at WrestleMania and not at Elimination Chamber, and so Meltzer was technically right the entire time because they brought The Rock in for Elimination Chamber, and that's what was supposed to happen. So, my God, but the main event was terrible. Raw, as far as Raw is concerned, because I know you're about to talk about Raw after this. Best Raw after WrestleMania in a very, very long time. This new faction that they're building up with Seth, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker. Got a couple names here that I think will be added to the group, possibly if they're going to do this new Dangerous Alliance. Becky Lynch, Fraxium. I think Fraxium may be involved. Nathan Frazier, Seth, they have that relationship together. And I'm seeing it. I'm probably seeing that. I think they're already trying to set something up for Survivor Series as well with that. So with the whole War Games and shit, I could see something with that too. But yeah, the Raw was great. Russo coming back very good. A lot of the Becky heel turn, whatever. Well, fuck off with that, but whatever. But
Right.
outside of that, I gotta get going though. I gotta go take care of something right now. But I'll leave you to it for the rest of the show, Drew. And I hope you have yourself a good night, brother.
All right, man. Take care and be safe.
Yeah. See y'all later. Who's here in the chat? Maurice,
Yeah,
Kyle.
Yeah, Mish is here.
Mish. Oh, Mish. What's up, brother? All right, guys. Bye. I gotta get going. Something came up, but I'll talk to y'all later. Nothing bad, by the way. I'm fine. Everything's good, but I just have to take care of something.
Okay. All right. Do your business, man.
All right. No worries, man. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.
All right. So, let me give my thoughts on the main event. The main event was not good at all. Yeah, John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I'll say this. I like the beginning of the match. I like the first half of the match. I did like how Cena just completely slowed down the momentum of the match and the pacing by just doing like a double axe handle off the top rope and just doing like a headlock, because his whole thing is fuck everybody. Like I'm gonna ruin wrestling for you by just doing simple wrestling holds. So I thought that was pretty funny of him. The rest of the match, like fucking Travis Scott coming out and taking 7 minutes to come to the ring, and then Cody doing his move, and then Travis Scott not selling the move by getting up 2 minutes later. And just the whole bit with Cody and Cena doing the tug of war with the belt, and then Cena's like, "Come on, do it," and Cody's like, "No, I can't. I don't want to hurt my hero, John Cena." Like, and he doesn't do it, and John Cena kicks him in the nuts and goes for the AA, and John Cena's the new WWE champion. I just, and you know, the fans are booing Cody and cheering Cena. With Cena, I can see why, but here's my opinion. This is just my opinion. With Cena, it's just they've always wanted Cena to be a heel, and him as a heel just works. It's natural. As you can tell, a lot of this is Cena. Like, this just seems like it's coming from Cena, and not, you know, someone writing the shit out for him. Cody, I love Cody, but he does run into that problem of him trying to be too much of a thespian in the ring when he's cutting promos. When Cody has more fire, more aggression to his promos, that's when he's at his best. But when he tries to be a little bit too cute and a little bit too respectful, he just kind of comes off as kind of a bitch, in my opinion. But this was not a good ending. I didn't like this main event at all. It was a lame finish. And like Justin echoed, and I'm happy that he brought that up, The Rock really did ruin WrestleMania this year. Like, he really did. Like, his ego really fucked everything up. Like, his ego almost fucked up WrestleMania last year when he inserted himself in the fucking main event of WrestleMania. But then the fans just pretty much said, "No, fuck you. Cody's the guy right now. You're not the guy." So they had to change it. And then The Rock wanted to be in the main event. He wanted to insert himself in the fucking main event again. And Triple H just went, "No. Like, no, you're not. This isn't your year. This is Cody's year. You know, this is John's last year. You know, we're going to make this match happen." So instead of just sitting by and doing his job as a fucking board member, he decides to sabotage it by doing the fucking weird, caressing, Cody's cheek angle of wanting his soul, and then does it with Cena, and then wasn't seen since. And again, just the whole interview he did on Pat McAfee's show, where he's like, I decided that the tribal, not the tribal chief, but the final boss is going to retire. Like, no, you're full of shit. Like, please, Rock, stop. Like, so the public is done with The Rock. They're done with him in Hollywood, and the wrestling fans are sure as hell done with them. So, yeah, fuck The Rock. You can eat shit at this moment. Just fuck him. And fuck that main event too. But overall, night 2 was better. I'd probably give it a B, maybe like a solid B minus. The best match of the night was the triple threat women's. That was so fucking good. That's a match of the year candidate. Might be the best women's match of the year so far. But that was WrestleMania, people. We're going to talk a little bit about Raw, since we're kind of a little bit over our time limit that we like to keep on this show. So I'm going to talk about Raw for a little bit. The night after WrestleMania, they're still in Vegas. The show opens with John Cena, who, again, just doing his disappointed dad speech, telling everybody, I'm taking this title with me, and they're going to have to create a new champion. And the fans are even chanting, "We're not sorry." And John Cena's like, typical. And then he tells everybody to take out their phones and to take a picture, because it's the last champion you're ever going to see. And then you see from behind him you hear a commotion, because you hear people like getting all hyped up about something. And then behind him is Randy Orton, and Randy Orton RKO's him, and that sets up what more than likely is going to be the main event of Backlash in St. Louis. Yeah, the first time these two have wrestled where Randy's the face and Cena's the heel. Like, that's insane to think about. It's insane to think about being interested in a Randy Orton match now. Because Randy for a while, wasn't motivated. Now he's motivated. Ever since he came back, he's been more motivated. And this could work. The promo battles could be interesting. They could, the promo packages, you can bring up, them being from OVW and just coming up in the ranks. So we just had Cena's last WrestleMania match. Now we're gonna have Cena's last time wrestling Orton. So I'm interested. Backlash is looking to be a pretty big show so far. Next is you had the new women's champions. Tyler Valkyrie. Did I say Tyler Valkyrie? Lyra Valkyria, Jesus Christ, and Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I thought this was better than their Mania match, personally. I thought this was better paced. I thought Liv went out there with a lot of energy. I thought Liv was the one kind of essentially calling traffic in the match. She seemed like she had a little bit more spunk to her than everybody else in the ring. But we'll fast forward to the ending. So Liv Morgan and Raquel won their tag titles back. So Liv Morgan is the first ever 4-time tag team champion. So good, women's tag team champion. So good for her. After the match, Becky goes heel and beats up Lyra, which that had to be the worst beatdown I've ever seen. More so to do with the fact that Lyra doesn't know how to get beat up, or also due to the fact that she just kind of came off as a puss in that beatdown. Like, I don't know, just have Becky just beat the fuck out of her and Lyra doesn't respond. Like, beat her unconscious. The whole time Lyra just looks like a scared little kid who doesn't want to get whipped by her parents. Like, she's just like, "No, Becky, no, don't beat me up, Becky. Don't beat me up. We used to be friends back in Ireland. Remember that one time you gave me a potato?" Like, I don't know, like, she's just being a fucking puss. And I hated it. It made me hate Lyra. And I've been nice to Lyra But it's just like I just take that fucking Intercontinental title off of Lyra. Like, take it off of her, give it to Becky, because this whole thing with Lyra just it sucks. It's fucking like it's dog shit. Like, that's how bad it is. These I mean, Chelsea's making that U.S. title mean something because she's Chelsea and she's entertaining. But Lyra, I just from now on I just want to see her get the shit beat out of her. Like, the next show, if she doesn't come out with more fire in her and she wants to fight Becky, if she just lays down, it's like, Becky, you're my hero, back in Ireland. It's just, like, no. If she does that bullshit, I'm like, okay, Becky, just murder this woman. Like, literally pull out a gun and shoot her in the face. Like, fuck this bitch. I'm serious. Like, that was fucking pussy shit. Pussy shit. Next is you had the New Day come out. Then you had who was it? Alpha Academy come out, and they're about to have a tag match, and then Rusev came out and attacked Alpha Academy. So Rusev is back, and I'm happy because I like Rusev. I'm happy that he's back. He's jacked. He's in pretty good shape. Lana is back. She didn't come back that night, but she apparently signed a Legends deal. Which, do you get paid less for a Legends for a Legends deal? Is that why they signed her back? They're like, well, we're not going to give you main roster money. We're just going to give you a Legends deal contract. That's kind of funny. But that's it. Anywho. Next is you had Io Sky come out and address the crowd. She gets a promo about her big win at Mania. And then Stephanie McCool comes out, which I immediately, my attention was glued to the screen. Love me some Stephanie McCool. She came out and, talked to Io and said, I'm here to show you respect. I have respect for you, but I'm also here to challenge you to a match. And they agree to the match, and then Pierce gets on and goes, hold on, ladies, hold on. I know you want to have the match, but what about the fans? Do they want to see the match? And then they go, yes! And then Adam Pierce goes, fuck it. I want to see the match, too. So that was kind of funny. And I really did like the match. It was really good. Stephanie, it looks like she's over with the main roster fans. I mean, granted, she's fucking hot as balls. I mean, if you send her out to any arena, there's going to be men in the audience that are going to like what they see. I mean, there's going to be women, too, that like what they see, probably. But Stephanie gets a good reaction from the crowd. And, her and Io, they had a damn good match, which was, it was a fuck finish, as we all expected. Roxanne Perez came out and attacked... came out and took out Io first, and then Julia came out and attacked Stephanie. Julia gets no reaction. And then Rhea came out and took out Roxanne, and then she had a stare down with Julia, and then she had a stare down with Io to kind of say, hey, I still haven't forgotten about you. So that happened. So cool. Fun fact on Bleacher Report. Saying the last time these two fought in a match that wasn't a Royal Rumble was in Mexico in 2012. So that's a pretty interesting fact. 13 years ago. Then Jey Uso came out and wasted everybody's time. Yeeting with everyone, not really saying anything of importance. Sami Zayn came out and congratulated him, says, I'm damn proud of you. And they yeet with the crowd, and there's an angle where Sami Zayn is staring at Jey, thinking like, should I do it? Should I take my shot? He doesn't. Because they already had a heel turn. I don't know if they want to do 2 heel turns. They probably want to prolong this first. And then Jimmy comes out, doesn't really do anything, and they yeet. I'm guessing that they're going to have a match at Backlash where Jey wins. And they're going to toy with the idea of Sami going heel because he can't beat Jey. And the idea is Sami can be like, I taught you everything you know. Or not even say that, but like, he can be like, I'm a much better wrestler than you, Jay. I know I am. Like, that's how you turn Sammy heel. Just my opinion. Right. And then what do we got next? Yeah, Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. Good match. Not a great match, but a pretty good match. Earlier in the night, Finn Balor approached Dom, and, Liv's trying to, like, play Peacemaker and be like, hey, we all have a belt. We're the tag champs. Dom's a champ. If one of us is a champ, that means we're all champs, right? And then Finn goes, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And then he hugs Dom, and then the match itself was good. For a second I was kind of thinking like, is Finn gonna cost Dom the match, but he didn't, and Finn got the win. JD McDonough is back. I forgot to mention that JD McDonough is back, and interfered while the ref wasn't looking, and Dom is still your Intercontinental Champion. Good to see JD back from his injury. I'm glad he's back. All right, and then the show ends with Seth Rollins coming out with Paul Heyman, and they really don't even get a word in before CM Punk comes out and is taping up his wrist, but he, I guess, doesn't finish, and then he goes down in the ring and beats up Seth, turns his attention to Paul, and then Seth takes him out anyway, goes for a curb stomp. It looked like the show was going off air, but it's streaming, so it can go as long as it wants. There was even like a small little message that came up at the bottom of my screen that said, your stream has ended. But Seth is in the ring celebrating, and then Roman comes out and spears Seth, and then Superman punches Paul Heyman, and as he's about to go for a spear, a mysterious hooded figure spears Roman, and it ends up being Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker takes out he takes out Punk, and Seth curb stomps both men, and the show goes off the air with Braun standing in the ring with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. So happy it's Braun. Braun moving on to bigger and better things. I like this. It's a good heel faction. Eventually, it looks like Punk and Roman might do the buddy cop thing. I think they're going to have a tag match at Backlash. It's going to be Punk and Roman versus the new faction of Braun and Seth. I think they're going to have Braun kind of shift around and wrestle Punk at one pay-per-view event, and maybe wrestle Roman. You're going to see Roman do a lot of jobs. And by jobs, I mean like he's going to put people over that he probably should be putting over. He's going to put over Braun. Like, I'm just going to say this. Braun has a much better spear than Roman. Roman's just looks like he's doing a running hug. Braun's spear actually looks like a spear, and it looks like it actually hurts people. And more than likely, you're going to see Punk and Roman at SummerSlam wrestle each other. That's going to be one of the main events, since SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights this year. So, but that was Raw. Raw was really good. The night after WrestleMania, it really lived up. It was probably better than both nights of Mania combined. And then NXT was NXT. Still pretty good show. The crowd was not very responsive on Tuesday, but granted, they've been there since fucking Friday, so I don't blame them. But I don't know. Noam Dar came back and beat Lexis King for the Heritage Cup Championship, and Stephanie McCoy wrestled Roxanne Perez, and she won. Chase U is back. I don't know how, but it came back. Andre Chase, pulled out a Chase U shirt and said, "We are so fucking back." And that's really about it. I mean, again, there wasn't really anything eventful that happened on NXT, but this Friday on SmackDown, Aleister Black is going to return to the company. Who he does, I don't know. It's more than likely going to be an open challenge thing. Maybe, more than likely, they already have like merchandise made for him, which they usually do for people that are coming back. They did it for Penta, and they did it for fucking Phoenix. So, you're going to hear from Cody. You're going to hear from Cena. And yeah, that's about it, people. That's the show. Um, so I'm just gonna call it a day here. The questions tab, like I mentioned, is open. If you want to leave questions, you can. Um, I was suggesting doing maybe opening up a Q&A show again, but we're not able to make that work, unfortunately. So for these questions, we're just going to save them at the end of the show. Um, Depending on how much time we have, we probably won't get to every question. We'll probably answer a few questions, but if we have more than enough time, then we'll attempt to get through all these questions. But thank you to anyone that does leave questions. But anyways, that's it, people. I'm done. For Justin, follow him. Yeah, you can find him by heading over to Spawnbuster Tees in San Antonio, Texas, at the Wonderland Mall of America. He has everything you need. He has Funko Pops, action figures, T-shirts, he even has shorts. He has everything you need as a wrestling fan. You can also go to SpawnbusterTees.com if you can't make the trip. For me, Twitter, I still call it Twitter because fuck it. DY Experience, Instagram, you can find it there. The YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We're live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Time right here in the Wrestling Soup Discord, as well as YouTube. You can also find the podcast is anywhere that podcasts are distributed, like Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify. So look out for us. And what else? Yeah, that's about it, people. Shout out to everyone that's a friend of ours and supports us and loves us. And forever, shout out Kevin Castle. If you're up there, we love you and we missed you this WrestleMania weekend. So, but anyways, people, I'm out. Take care. Peace.